Okay, hi. I'm going to do this video showing how I do cuffs and waists. We've done some pictures, well I've done some pictures that you'll need to look at first, and got to the stage where I have got the waistband pinned into the waist, matching it at 8 points. You have to use pins for this, not clips, no good. As you can see, the waist is bigger than the waistband, and we're going to take that in as we sew. So hopefully when we do this you'll be able to hear me. I have matched my seam on my waistband to the centre back of these trousers. So I've just got on a normal zigzag foot. I don't use an overlocker. I use a 70-year-old Durkop sewing machine, and for this today I'm going to use a triple stitch zigzag stitch for the stretch and the strength. So I'm going to put my needle in. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing here. Now this is the point, so I'm starting with my needle in. You can see I need to get all that in to that. So if I put the waistband on the inside, it makes it easy. You see how I can stretch it for the right length to my pin here. I can match up those edges. They don't have to be perfect. They just need to be roughly right. So I've stretched that out, and I'm putting my finger here and keeping it here. So I'm keeping this firm, but not tight. So I've only stretched it as far as I need to go. And I'm going to stitch now. I'm going to hold my threads, and I'm going to stitch to the pin. So I'm stopping and putting my needle in just before this pin. And I'm taking this pin out. I don't want to stitch over my pins. Very old machine. Don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to do exactly the same again. Because my needle's in, it'll hold my fabric in place. I'm going to stretch again. Can you see? I'm stretching till that goes flat. And then I'm going to use my fingers to keep that seam in place without overstretching. And I'm just going to run along and stop before the next pin and put my needle in. Just on the turn as it's coming back up, so it's completed a full stitch. Remove the pin. I'm going to do this all the way round. Now, I'm getting to where the pockets are on this, so it's going to get a little bit more difficult. It looks a bit bigger, but it is the same gap. And I'm going to stretch. Really, it's quite hard because I have different fabrics now. But I am still stretching it as far as I can and using my fingers to hold those together. And off I go and let it go and feed it through. I'm going to stop in front of the pin, drop my needle again, all the way around. You do the cuffs and necklines exactly the same as this. Exactly the same. It's just a little bit more tricky because they're smaller. However, they are finished a lot quicker. And I'm going to go on to do that on my next video. I can only do one video at a time. So you can see I've got a bit of pocket edge here. I'm going to catch that in. So I'm put my finger there and I've straightened it out. Off I go. And I stop and make sure my needle's down. Right, I'm going to stop talking now and I'm just going to finish this round. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just being a bit careful to match those edges. I'm up to the last one now, because this is about a size 12 to 18 months harem pants I'm doing here. Now I'm getting to where I start. I don't bother to do the reverse very often. Can't be bothered, to be honest with you, so I shall just run straight over it. So I've basically got a bit of a double stitch there for just half an inch or so, or 2-3 centimetres. I'm taking it out, cutting it off. Okay, so here you can see my stitch that I've used, my 3 layers, the stitch on this side, and then when I turn this through, that's my waistband on here. This I will take over to the iron now, and I will press it. I don't use steam because I'm in a hard water area, it ruins the iron, so I will press it. If I really want steam, I will hover above it with a cloth, but I'll press this because that sets the stitches and shrinks the whole thing back. After you've stretched it, it shrinks it down that little bit more, so it looks much more professional. So I'm going to go and I'm going to press both sides of the seam, on both sides. Then I will pink this edge with pinking shears, or I might cut it. We'll see. Pinking shears don't always work on the thickness. But I won't top stitch it either. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll push it down and take the twin needle and top stitch it along here. But I probably won't because I quite like it without. We'll see. But that's how you do that. And just let me turn them through. Quick turn through so you can see how even it is without me pressing. Hopefully I've got all this on there. I'm in the right place to show you, so I'm just going to whip them through. Okay, there we go. So, there we go. There we have them. Nice and evenly gathered around the top there. Now, the next video I'll do will be to show you the cuffs, which are very small.